Hey guys, before the video begins, I'd like you to know that I have a Twitter account over at @carthusdojo. Go ahead, follow me, tweet at me, and I'll reply to anything you send my way. Now, video intro. Hello everyone, I'm Carthu, and welcome to another episode of Everything Important. This is the series where I tell you what important things happened in the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super. This week is episode 119, so let's jump into it. The episode begins with Vegeta fighting the Japanese reference. Yes, I know he has a name. No, I don't plan on using it. Vegeta quickly shows his superiority and wins a beam struggle against him. However, this isn't what knocks him out of the arena. Something invisible, that we later find out is Gamisaras, takes out the ankles of the Japanese reference, and gets him eliminated. What's really important here is that the Japanese reference was holding up very well against enraged Super Saiyan Vegeta, so the invisible creature should be about that strong as well. Super Saiyan Vegeta is ridiculously strong at this point in the series, so this is a fairly good feat. After kicking the Japanese reference out, Gamisaras attacks Universe 7. He starts with Vegeta, who barely manages to hang on to the arena, then moves to Gohan, who is saved by Piccolo, then to Android 18, who is also saved by Piccolo. Afterwards, Gohan uses the dust from the arena to cover Gamisaras and reveal his location. The huge reveal here is that Gamisaras isn't the bug person we thought he was. He's actually a chameleon-type person. I'm not sure if this was a last-minute change or a mess-up on Toei's promotional side, but it makes sense since Gamisaras wasn't in the intro like Damon was. Once revealed, Gamisaras is no threat to Universe 7 since his battle power is below Piccolo's. This leads to an easy KO and leaves only 2 members for Universe 4. Interestingly, this is a continuation of the Goku Resurrection of F theme, where one can be stronger than an opponent, but if not on guard, the weaker opponent can be the victor. Glad this rule is being shown to apply to everyone, and not just Goku. Shansa the Illusionist is the next Universe 4 combatant. Except, he isn't. Shansa's power is the ability to create an area within which he can create illusions. He chooses to use fallen fighters as his method of attack. However, the illusions aren't solid and actually require someone hiding inside of them so that they can deal damage. Overall, this ability would have been paired way better with Gamisaras and not Damon. But what can you do? Also, basically 2 seconds into this fight, Shansa is found and eliminated by Piccolo. This is Piccolo's second ring out this episode. Damon is on the attack, but it seems like he's also invisible. However, that's not the case, and Piccolo gets ringed out because of it. This is the first member of Universe 7 to be eliminated in 12 episodes. Pretty nuts when you think about it. Also, if you want my opinion on how this was executed, make sure you watch my ramblings and review section later in this video. The big secret about Damon that's tripping up all of Universe 7 is that his ki is able to be sensed, but when you attack where the ki is, no one's there. This would work really well if we ever had it explained in the series that ki can make a person feel a different size than they are. But as we know from Goku's training with Popo, to learn ki sense in the first place, even a blindfolded person can fight. So if you can't sense the size of a body, only the size of the ki, how does that work? Honestly, it seems like a retcon just for this episode, and it will never be brought up again. This could have easily been explained away with ki feints, just like with Obuni. Damon is revealed, and he is not invisible. He's actually a bug person, so he's just small. They didn't notice him. Goku and Android 17 team up in order to defeat him, and this leads to 17 punting him out of the arena. This is 17's one elimination of the episode. With Damon out, that means there are no more fighters in Universe 4. Of course, they are erased by Zeno, which leaves only 3 universes alive in the tournament. Universes 3, 7, and 11 are the top 3 of the Tournament of Power. This should show that we are getting close to the final clash between Universe 7 and 11, because, come on, 3 is not making it that far. But before we're there, we will have to make a small detour to Universe 3. As is the norm now, we get another timestamp. The tournament has 12 minutes remaining. What will Universe 3 do to contend with Universes 7 and 11? But that's it! Everything important in episode 119. Now, as I do every week, it's time for my ramblings and review. It's at this time I want to announce a change in this portion of Everything Important. Basically, I want to improve this series as time goes on, and the best way to do that is by making changes over time. It's the only way. The portion of Everything Important known as Rambling and Review is basically just a free talk section where I talk about my opinions on the episode. However, there were constantly times where I realized after I posted the video I missed out on something I wanted to speak about, or I just entirely misrepresented my argument inside the video. So I do want to make this a little bit better. And I'm not going to change the fact that I ramble on or the fact that I free talk. I have notes, that's about it, which are just bullet points that literally say things like what the animation quality was, what the pacing quality was, what the character quality was, etc. And that's about it. And then I just ramble off of those notes, so that way I don't miss key points, and some of them have a second note below them, like a second bullet point, that'll tell me what to expand on specifically in this category. So, let's just start it off with the first topic of bad animation. There is a difference between bad animation and bad art, and this episode had both, so, you can cherry pick as much as you want, because you're probably right when you say it's bad animation, even though you're probably just talking about the bad art. The motion was awful, movement was non-existent, still images were just basically dragged across the screen. I mean, this is the definition of limited animation, and I don't actually know if there was a standout scene in terms of animation. Except for some of the effects work, which was really nice. The animation itself, I don't think had a standout moment. I might be proven wrong by, Anime AJ, going in with a magnifying glass and finding something I didn't see, but judging by his tweets, probably isn't there. So overall, this episode looked like trash. I mean, from the very minute it started and you saw that transition from last episode to this episode with the previously to this episode, it was just night and day. And there were good shots in the episode. Obviously, my thumbnail is actually one I really, really liked. But good shots and good art do not make good animation. The next big thing was the bad pacing of this episode. Yep, another bad for this episode. The issue with this episode was not that the pacing was slow. The pacing was way too fast. Like I said in the Everything Important, Shansa was eliminated in like 0.2 seconds. I mean, I don't think that guy had even a second to shine, right? And Damon was gone really quickly as well, and so was Gamisaras. And I think really we just lost out on a bunch of potential Universe 4 things that could have gone a lot better. And that pacing really takes away this emotional connection you could have to these characters before they get erased. And because we didn't have that, it was kinda eh. That leads me directly to the next category, though, which is characters. And honestly, this was all rushed and missed opportunities. The entire thing was missed opportunities. The dynamic of the episode was very cool, but it just showed that Kitela's fighters could have been demonstrated more prevalently previously in the tournament. People like Damon and Gamisaras could have been eliminating people from the start and having a mystery start from the beginning. Now imagine if in Krillin's episode, it wasn't Frost, who we already know is a douchebag, coming and getting rid of Krillin. Rather, it's Gamisaras, who we don't see, and we're like, what? Krillin was just fine, and no one hit him. What the hell is going on? And then Tien actually doesn't jump off with this guy. He's able to Kikoho him off the platform. And then, all of a sudden, Damon comes out of nowhere and kicks him in the back, and then they, take credit for it this episode. That would have built real tension, and it would have been like, oh crap, they've been doing work this tournament. Unfortunately, it's not the case. And obviously it's easier to talk about hindsight, right? Because as they say, hindsight is 20/20. But it really was a missed opportunity in my opinion. The next missed opportunity was definitely Kitela's demise, where he says, I'm going to destroy you all. Great easy moment to show that Jiren is stronger than your average god of destruction by having Kitello launch a blast at the arena stage that maybe even targets Jiren specifically, and Jiren just deflects it like it's nothing. Whether this is a Hakai or something else would be incredibly potent to power scaling the series, because unlike Toyotaro, who in the manga directly states that Jiren is stronger than Belmod, we still are like, no, but we said he thinks that the rumor has been proven true, so it's not proven true yet. It is proven true, by the way. Toyotaro's manga proves it true, because that's one of the key plot points that's obviously from Toriyama. Regardless of that, it would have been a great scene to demonstrate this with a feat, and if it was a Hakai-type attack, it would show that Jiren could easily erase that type of attack, as opposed to, say, Golden Frieza or Base Goku, who had trouble tanking it. The next biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, is an Android 17 Piccolo moment. As Android 17 was the one to defeat the person who defeated Piccolo, it would have been really nice if they had like a little back and forth over it. Like, yeah, I'm still better than you or whatever, because of their little rivalry from back when they fought in the Android Saga. That would have been really cool. I think it would have been such a nice little moment to see, and I live for character moments. If you guys have watched me in the past do rambling and reviews and everything important, you know I love and live for character moments. I think they're the best thing out there, and there's really nothing better than a good one, because it really gets you invested in these people as real people, regardless of how real their actions may or may not be. So, missed opportunity, but whatever. Alright, next, let's go to a sort of category that won't show up very often, I'm hoping. Stupid retcon. So, there are some good retcons. I think the Potara Fusion retcon is a good retcon. Potara Fusion was like an easy out to everything if you could just wish it away with the Dragon Balls like they showed in the beginning of Super. But not being able to sustain the fusion in blue shows that anything above blue would basically be out in 0.2 seconds, so why even bother fusing to begin with? And we know that Potara Fusion is supposed to be stronger, better, longer, faster, everything than Metamoran Fusion. So that's a good retcon. It's a good retcon. The Ki retcon makes no sense, though. Why does Ki change size? I don't understand. I guess if he was doing it on purpose, but then just say he's using Ki feints, which would have been just like Obuni and would have been very interesting. As opposed to saying, oh no, we're so dumb because we can sense his Ki, but we think he's like 3 million times the size he actually is. What? I'm sorry? No, that's not how Ki sense works. That's not how it's been shown to work in the series. Don't change that now when we've been shown that people could lose their vision and fight in dust clouds and be able to do all this stuff while knowing exactly where a person is, at exactly what position, and exactly what attack, and exactly what everything they're doing. Don't change it now. It doesn't make sense to change it now. It's too late to change it. It wasn't like Potara where it had a loophole that you could get into, where they defused in Majin Buu, and now that's retcon to be part of that defusion timer. Makes sense. That works, right? The Zenkai boost retcon, where Goku got a Zenkai boost as a child versus Tao Pai Pai, instead of actually gaining any strength from Korin's tower. Makes sense. These are good retcons. Very good retcons. But this one, stupid retcon, unfortunately. Next is Piccolo's elimination. Now, I was gonna put this in the characters section, but I think it deserved its own because it was really dumb. First off, Piccolo gets knocked off. It looks really slow, and like he could avoid it the whole time. But also the fact that earlier in the episode, he uses his stretchy arms to save Gohan. I was thinking, oh, they're showing his stretchy arms in the beginning of the episode, so that way they can establish why this won't work later. Nope. Piccolo just spins at like 0.2 miles per hour into the abyss and falls out without even trying to extend his arms. And maybe not reaching in time or something like that. Way better solution. Nope. Instead, he falls out, makes no sense whatsoever, and they try to justify it by, look, he had his big episode. He got 2 eliminations this episode, and he used his Makanko Sappo last episode to assist in 2 eliminations, and no, it's not the truth. Don't lie to us and try to make it seem like he had this great episode. He didn't. It was an okay episode at best. I mean, I'll get to that later, but realistically, it was Not a great episode for him to go out on, which is fine. He had his big episode last week, right? But don't pretend like this is a good way for him to go out. All you had to do was cut off his arms, and that was it. Before he could regen them, kick him out. Boom. I am happy. But no, you decided to just ignore the fact that you put stretching arms in the first half of the episode, because now the second half of the episode is ridiculous. The next big thing was the misuse of music. It felt like a lot of the times the music was way more epic sounding and over the top and actiony when the scenes didn't call for it. When Gohan is shooting dust off the arena floor by blasting it, that doesn't deserve epic music. When Goku is punching the ground for a little bug man to not be able to jump on it, that's not epic. Don't misuse epic music. Thank God we didn't hear Ultimate Battle again misused. But honestly, it wasn't the worst part of the episode, so I'm gonna let it slide. There was some good music in the episode. I'm not saying the music itself was bad, just the use of that music in this episode was bad, in my opinion anyway. Alright, so I do want to say some good things about the episode. They are not on bullet points. It was ambitious. It was very ambitious to introduce 3 characters and eliminate them all at once, without giving them time to be expanded upon in prior episodes. Is that a good thing, though? No, ambition doesn't always lead to success, and I don't think this episode was a success. There's also the issue of animation, but I could get over it in some regard as long as there's some semblance of, oh, okay, this guy's punching this guy, right? And when they use those little explosions that happen in the distance and it like signifies, oh yeah, they're clashing and they're making shockwaves and stuff, I've always been okay with those. It's a nice, cheap way to slide past the animation issues that usually plague a series like this. Also, the close-up shots that are really detailed but are just looping frames are fine with me because they're very well detailed, right? If I can pause it and I can look at it and be like, ooh, pretty, I'm usually one of the people that'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to expect every episode to look like last week's, where Gohan had this sick rotation with his arm literally curving with the screen, but it looked so natural at the same time, and oh my god, it was just so good. I can't expect that every week, and I know better. And I think since we've had good weeks, basically since episode 109 and 110, which would mean we've had good episodes for 9 episodes, I'm okay with that. If number 10 is not great, that's fine, as long as next week, which by the preview looks pretty good, will be very good. And as long as it is, I'm happy, and I can understand the struggles of running a series like this that has a lot of issues behind the scenes. But yeah, the ambition is really what I want to take home here. Also, I didn't mention it in the Piccolo part. I did think Android 18 was going to get eliminated. I did mention that in a prior video. But having it be Piccolo, I thought Piccolo was the second most likely to be eliminated next, so I'm not too surprised by it. Just the thing is, Android 18 felt like she was just being set up to be eliminated, had her big moment, she's the weakest person on the team as of right now, her leg is injured, she's all set up to be eliminated, especially by someone who's tripping opponents by their ankles, it's like Gamisadas and Damon were. So was it really smart to have Piccolo go now and not give him another chance to shine in another fight? I don't know, maybe. I guess saving the androids for the Universe 3 mechs makes sense, but, you know, I'm gonna assume it's with best intentions and great story writing in mind that she is saved right now. So, now let me get to this portion. I say very often at the end of my reviews, and I've realized this, that an episode's good, or an episode's okay, or this episode was pretty good, you know, things that are really arbitrary, and I'm not saying what I'm proposing here is less arbitrary. It just gives you a scale, a range, and, you know, some things are at the higher end of whatever bracket I put them in, and some things are in the lower end of whatever bracket I put them in. I'm not going to be too specific with it and give it numbers, but I want to start rating the episodes on the basis of awful, meh, good, great. This will allow me to have a concise system that I use to rate episodes while still being fairly arbitrary, but also giving you a range. So you'll know that I think episode 106 is awful, right? Which I don't think anyone here doesn't know. If you don't, I have a whole rant video about it, and if you like episode 106, don't watch it. It's alright. But if you don't like episode 106 and you want to see why someone else doesn't like 106 just like you, then go watch it. That being said, though, what would I rate this episode? Honestly, it's a solid meh for me. While the animation was pretty piss poor and some of the plot points were rushed, we had some interesting plot points that sort of had a cool way of playing out. Last week was great on my scale, but this week goes to meh. And that's just how it's going to be. So, a solid meh episode in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and subscribe if you want more Dragon Ball videos. But for now, video outro!